And I'm glad that you're welcome to class. I'm glad that you're here. We don't have a very long class today. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And we're into week 5 now. So let's take a look at week 5. So in week 5, what you have to do in week 5, let me get to the content. I want to make sure that I'm properly sharing. Okay. I want to make sure I'm properly sharing. So in week 4, because this thing is such a pain in the neck. The fundamentals of cost accounting. And what you have to do in this week's assessment. Now, there are various types of costs. So when you're dealing with cost accounting, there's various types of costs. So you're going to get costs like indirect, direct, and project cost and period cost. And what we're really trying to do is we have all kinds of costs in a business, but we have to apply the costs that are either directly related to the products or related to, say, administration or other things. Or some are spread over, some are costs that are one cost, but they're spread over projects and other projects. So direct costs we can directly relate to the production of a product. Indirect costs are part of the production process. So like rent, utilities, salaries, administration, insurance, they have to be split up between divisions, right? Because this is what cost accounting is. Cost accounting is our ability to, you have to apply costs properly. You can't apply costs incorrectly, because then you'd basically be lying to yourself and to your investors. They would think you're making money. What happens if you have a product and you really want to sell it and you really want it to do well, so you take the cost and put it with another product? That's illegal. On top of it, you're kind of lying. And those things that get kind of mixed up. It's very hard to see those things. And that's why auditors come in and CPAs and they make sure you do it correctly. And then you have period costs that happen over time. So in this particular case, you have direct costs like materials directly used. For instance, if it's a phone case, the phone screen, the electric components. Then you have the direct labor costs. And then you have the overhead, which has to be apportioned, and the period costs, which are like insurance. Period costs, the reason why I use the word period costs is because they're costs that happen over time. And one of the most important things you can learn about is fixed and variable costs. And this is a big economic principle. So fixed costs are costs that do not change with more units of production. That's the difference with fixed costs. They do not change with more units of production. So whatever it is, hold on. It's good that he sees it comes from you. This way he knows you really want it to happen. So the fixed costs never change. Fixed costs never change. But the variable costs or mixed costs do change with units of production. So think about it this way. When you have a product, you have to make your fixed costs first because they're not going to change. So let's say you have a pizzeria. This is how I would explain it. So please pay attention. And the key word this week is fixed costs. The key word this week is fixed costs. So let's say you own a pizzeria and the fixed cost is $100,000. Okay, a month. Oh, that's a lot. Let's say it's $20,000 a month, and let's say you're selling pizzas for $20 a pie, and it's a big pizza rate. It's a big operation. Well, the first 1,000 pizzas you sell brings in $20,000, right? You make it $20 a pie. Let's assume that's total money into the firm. Now you've covered your fixed costs. So you need 1,000 pizzas to break even. You need 1,000 pizzas to break even. Then let's assume on every pizza you make $10. That's called your contribution rate. So now every pizza you sell afterwards, multiply it by $10 and there's your profit. That's your contribution rate. It's simple math. So if you have $20,000 in fixed costs, rent, leases, employees, you sell 1,000 pies for $20, you've covered your fixed costs. Because those fixed costs don't go away. They're the same every month. Like the nut that you have in your house. Once that's covered, then every pie you sell afterwards, you make $10 on 20. That's your contribution rate. If you sell another 1,000 pies, you make 1,000 times 10, you make 10,000. Okay? And that's your break-even point. So you could, and investors want to know your break-even point. And why? I'm going to let you do this on your own. The investors want to know your break-even point. Think about why. Because they're going to want to make sure. They're going to want to make sure that you could at least break even. Otherwise, you're out of business. At least if you're breaking even, then eventually you sell more pies and you make a profit. But if you can't break even, then you're dead. Because if you can at least make your fixed costs, then think about it. You're bleeding money every month. And that goes with any company, biotech companies, Microsoft, all companies need to break even. So what's the assessment this week? You have to do a cost analysis and a break even. So let's listen to our friend. Let me make sure I'm sharing my sound. The key word is fixed costs.
Hi, it's Alex from Ground Up Cafe. Business has been going well, and now I'm ready to launch something new, a line of specialty cold brew coffee. I'm excited about the idea, but before I start selling, I need to make sure it's priced right and that it will actually be profitable. That's where I need your help. For this assignment, you'll first come up with a creative product concept, including a name, description, and even an image. Then you'll take a close look at the costs involved. Everything from ingredients and bottles to rent, labor, and marketing, and classify them as direct or indirect, and as variable, fixed or mixed. Finally, you will calculate how many bottles I'd need to sell to break even and what that means for my overall revenue goals. In a short memo, you'll also explain your results and what they mean for the cafe's financial planning. With your help, I'll know whether this cold brew launch is just a fun idea or a profitable new product for Ground Up Cafe.
Okay, so we know that. That's what Alex needs to do. We got to help this guy. He's a good guy. I like Alex. My man. Hold on. Okay, Alex. Okay, Alex. All right. Go easy. So this is your template, and then you have to give the name, classify it, talk about the costs, and you have to submit a document, a Word document, and an Excel document with the product name. That's your in a Word document, right? But I've already helped you with this. Hi, Melissa. How are you? Great to have you here.
Hello,
So,
thank you.
all right, I have a little bit of a quick class today because we got a lot going on. But all you have to do is go to my example, and you can watch this after, Melissa. I just went over all the courses and everything. And this, all you have to do is just look at the example I gave you. And I did the whole course clarification for you. Now, I'm not doing your homework for you. That's not what I'm doing here. What I'm trying to do is make this simple so you can analyze it and understand it. So you could basically use my work, but you have to at least put the product in your own words. That's all I'm asking. So use the example. I mean, this particular student used a different picture, talked a little bit different about it. You can make that a little different for yourself. I'd rather see you be a little more creative and talk a little bit more about how these costs were. But you could see if it's per cup, direct. If it's a lease, it's indirect. If it's rent, it's indirect. You see, or period. If it's a social media campaign per month, it's period. And just follow that, okay? And then do the break-even calculation. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. I got my friend Melissa here. That's all you got to do to get it correct. Any questions, Melissa?
No.
So, I mean, if you go back and watch my video when this is over, and I'll put it in YouTube, it's easy to find that way. I basically talked about indirect and direct costs and period costs, and then after that, I just gave you the homework so you can get it done this week. We're almost at the end of the class, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And the key word is fixed cost. Keywords, I should say. Where are you calling in from, Alyssa?
Wisconsin.
Where at?
Wisconsin.
Okay. Weren't you in my, didn't you come to another class when we talked?
I think I did. I know I joined in. Usually I'm working when you guys do the classes, so.
Oh, all right. That's why I got the video. Are you a Packers fan?
No.
Who do you root for?
I'm more of a Cowboys fan.
All right, America's team. Okay, I'm good with that. They must not like you over there. Packers and Cowboys, those are arch rivals, boy.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's a pleasure having you. Enjoy the rest of your summer if I don't see you next week, and just follow my lead, and you should do fine this week.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.